The Zorathian ship moved swiftly and silently through space, carrying Caleb and Mira toward her home planet. Caleb sat quietly near a large window, watching the stars stream past in bright streaks of light. Everything aboard the ship was smooth, clean, and impressive, yet Caleb felt a bit out of place. He missed the simple, rough life of his colony. Though he knew this journey was essential for his people's survival, Mira approached Caleb, her presence gentle and comforting. She seemed stronger now, fully healed from her injuries, thanks to the advanced medical care aboard the ship. Her silver hair shimmered under the soft lights, and her deep violet eyes held warmth and concern. "You seem troubled, Caleb," she observed softly, taking a seat beside him. Caleb sighed lightly, turning to face her. "Everything here is amazing, Myra, but I feel strange. I worry about my people, and if your people will truly accept us." Myra smiled kindly, gently touching his arm reassuringly. "My people trust my judgment. They will welcome you in your colony because they will see your strength, kindness, and bravery." Caleb felt reassured by her confidence. "Thank you, Mira. That means a lot." Shortly afterward, the Zorian ship slowed gracefully, approaching Myra's home planet. Caleb's eyes widened in awe as he saw the planet for the first time. The world was beautiful, covered in lush greens, sparkling blues, and gleaming white cities. Everything appeared peaceful and harmonious, vastly different from Orion IV's harsh landscape. The ship landed softly, and the doors opened quietly, revealing a welcoming group of Zorathians awaiting Myra's return. At their front stood a regal figure, clearly Mira's mother, the Queen. Her presence was commanding yet warm, her violet eyes mirroring Myra's exactly. Myra stepped forward gracefully, bowing slightly to her mother before embracing warmly. The Queen held her daughter closely, relief and joy evident on her elegant features. After a moment, Myra turned and gently introduced Caleb. "Mother, this is Caleb, the human who saved my life and helped me return home." The Queen turned toward Caleb, her expression kind yet evaluating. Caleb stepped forward, bowing respectfully as Mira had done. "You have my eternal gratitude, Caleb," the Queen said, her voice gentle and sincere. "You have performed an extraordinary service for our family and our people." Caleb nodded. Humbly, "I did only what anyone should do. Mira needed help, and it was right to offer it." The Queen smiled softly, clearly impressed by Caleb's humility and bravery. "Your character speaks volumes, Caleb. You are welcome here as our honored guest." Caleb felt relief wash over him. "Thank you, Your Majesty." The Queen motioned warmly toward the city behind her. "Come, you must rest and refresh yourself. Soon, we will discuss the aid your colony requires." Caleb and Mira walked together, guided by the Queen and her attendants. Caleb marveled at the city around him, its beauty and technology surpassing anything he had imagined. Yet the Zorathians were kind and welcoming, making Caleb feel more at ease. After Caleb had rested and refreshed himself, the Queen invited him to join a formal meeting. Caleb entered the council chamber, finding Mira already seated beside her mother. Several other important Zorathian leaders sat around a large, circular table, observing Caleb curiously but respectfully. Caleb clearly described the struggles his colony faced, emphasizing their need for resources, medicine, and technology. He spoke honestly and clearly, wanting the Zorathians to fully understand their plight. Myra watched him closely, pride and support clear in her expression. When Caleb finished speaking, the Queen nodded thoughtfully. "Caleb, your colony's struggle deeply moves us. Your bravery in helping Mira proves the worthiness of your people. We will send immediate assistance." Caleb felt immense relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Your Majesty. My people will forever remember your generosity." The Queen smiled warmly. "It is Mira's bond with you that inspired this union, Caleb. You both represent hope for a peaceful and prosperous future between our peoples." After the meeting, Caleb and Mira walked together in a beautiful garden, surrounded by vibrant flowers and peaceful fountains. Caleb felt hopeful and optimistic for the first time in years. Knowing his colony would soon receive vital help, Myra touched Caleb's arm gently, drawing his attention. "Caleb, thank you for believing in me and trusting my people." Caleb smiled warmly. "You showed me kindness first, Myra. You taught me to trust and understand. Our friendship has already changed so much for the better." Myra nodded, smiling. Softly, "Yes, Caleb, and it will continue to grow stronger. Together, our peoples will create a better future." As the sun slowly set, casting gentle rays across the garden, Caleb felt a sense of peace he had never known. Myra's quiet strength and wisdom reassured him, filling him with hope. Together, they had overcome great dangers, and now, together, they would build a future filled with promise and unity. Caleb and Myra reached the communication tower just before dawn. The structure stood tall and imposing, its metal frame gleaming faintly in the early morning light. Caleb quickly checked around to ensure the area was safe. After confirming no immediate threats, he gently guided Myra inside. Securing the door behind them. Inside, the tower was quiet and dusty from lack of use. Caleb immediately set to work, checking the old equipment and hoping it still functioned. Myra watched him closely, offering helpful suggestions as he navigated the controls. Her understanding of technology far surpassed Caleb's, and he appreciated her clear guidance. After several attempts, a soft hum filled the room, and the equipment flickered to life. Caleb breathed a sigh of relief, glancing toward Myra with a hopeful smile. "We did it," he said softly. Myra nodded, smiling gratefully. "Now, let us try sending a stronger signal to my people." She carefully took control, her fingers moving swiftly over the unfamiliar panel. Caleb stood back, fascinated by her ease with advanced technology. Within moments, a clear signal pulsed outward, a strong beacon reaching into the distant space above Orion 4. "We must wait now," Myra said quietly, her expression filled with hope and determination. Caleb nodded, relaxing slightly. Yet he knew they were still vulnerable here. "I'll check the perimeter again," he told Myra softly. Ensuring their safety remained a priority. As Caleb stepped outside, the jungle around them seemed peaceful, bathed in soft morning light. He moved carefully, scanning the dense foliage for any signs of danger. His heart remained heavy with worry, knowing the scavengers might still be nearby, determined to reclaim their prize. Suddenly, a faint rustling sound alerted him. Caleb turned sharply, hand reaching instinctively for his weapon. To his surprise, the foliage parted to reveal a group of beings unmistakably Zorthian. Their pale blue skin shimmered softly, and their movements were graceful yet purposeful. Caleb raised his hands carefully, showing he meant no harm. One of the Zorthians, clearly their leader, stepped forward cautiously. "We received Myra's signal. Where is she?" Caleb felt relief flood through him. "Inside safe," he replied calmly, gesturing toward the communication tower. Zorthian leader nodded appreciatively. "You have our gratitude, human. I am Talon, leader of this search party." "I'm Caleb," he replied respectfully. "Myra needs medical attention." Talon immediately signaled two of his group, who quickly moved toward the tower. Caleb followed closely, eager to ensure Myra's safety. Inside, Myra looked relieved as she saw her people enter. She exchanged gentle words with them, clearly relieved and comforted by their presence. Talon approached Myra, bowing slightly in respect. "Princess, we fear greatly for your safety. Your mother awaits anxiously for your return." Caleb's eyes widened in shock. He had suspected Myra was important, but never imagined she was royalty. Myra glanced toward Caleb, clearly seeing his surprise. She smiled gently, her expression apologetic yet grateful. "I did not want to burden you with this knowledge," Myra explained softly. "I am sorry I did not tell you sooner." Caleb shook his head gently. "It changes nothing, Myra. You are still my friend." Myra smiled warmly, clearly relieved. Talon watched their exchange closely, admiration evident in his expression. "Human, you have done a great service to our people." Our gratitude is eternal. Caleb nodded humbly. It was the right thing to do. Myra needed help. Callan smiled, clearly impressed. Your courage and compassion are remarkable. Come with us. Our ship awaits nearby. Caleb helped Mira gently to her feet, offering support as they exited the tower. Outside, a sleek Zorathian ship hovered silently, awaiting their arrival. Caleb admired its graceful lines and advanced technology. Amazed by its elegance, once on board, Mira received immediate medical care, her wounds tended by skilled healers. Caleb stood quietly to one side, grateful yet unsure of his place among these advanced beings. Mira sensed his unease and motioned him closer. You belong here, Caleb, she said softly. You are among friends. Caleb relaxed slightly, comforted by her words. Callan approached again, his expression serious but kind. Caleb, your bravery and kindness deserve recognition. We will help your colony. Myra has told us of your struggles. Caleb felt immense relief. Thank you, Talon. My people need assistance desperately. Talon nodded firmly. Then assistance you shall have. Our technology and resources will ensure your colony thrives. Myra smiled warmly at Caleb, clearly pleased by this outcome. Caleb, our friendship has created a bridge between our people. Together, we will create peace and prosperity. Caleb nodded, deeply moved by her words. I believe we can achieve great things together, Mira. As the ship gracefully ascended, leaving Orion IV's jungle far below, Caleb felt a sense of wonder and hope he had not felt in years. Myra sat beside him, her presence comforting and inspiring. Around them, the Zorathians worked quietly, their advanced skills impressive yet welcoming. Caleb watched Orion 4 fade into the distance, his thoughts turning to his colony. Soon, they would receive the help they desperately needed, thanks to the friendship he had formed with Mira. Beside him, Mira watched the stars with a peaceful expression, clearly content to return home, yet already looking forward to the new future they had begun to create together. Their journey had been challenging, yet it had forged a bond stronger than either had expected. Caleb smiled softly, knowing that no matter what the future held, he and Mira had already achieved something remarkable, a friendship that would endure forever. Caleb awoke early the next morning, feeling more optimistic than he had in days. Mira seemed stronger, her injured leg healing steadily. He helped her carefully to her feet, and she managed a small smile of encouragement. They both knew that Myra's people were searching for her, but they could not stay idle. The jungle was full of dangers, and staying in one place too long was risky. Together, they packed up their simple camp, carefully hiding any traces of their presence. Myra moved slowly but determinedly, leaning lightly on Caleb's shoulder when the terrain became difficult. Their bond grew stronger with every step they took together, each relying on the other as they walked. Mira described her home planet in detail. Caleb listened closely, fascinated by her vivid descriptions of advanced cities and peaceful gardens filled with flowers he could hardly imagine. In return, Caleb told Mira more about life on Orion IV, about the brave colonists who struggled daily to create a new home despite constant hardship. The jungle was dense and progress was slow. They moved carefully, alert for danger at every turn. Near midday, the peaceful silence was suddenly broken by distant voices. Caleb immediately halted, signaling Mira to stay quiet. Carefully, they moved to a hidden spot behind thick bush. To listen from their hiding place, Caleb saw a group of rough-looking humans emerging from the jungle, armed and clearly on the hunt. Their clothing was worn, their faces grim and unfriendly. Caleb recognized them immediately as scavengers, people who lived by stealing or selling whatever they could find. Caleb's heart beat fast with worry. Scavengers were dangerous, especially to someone as valuable as Myra. He motioned for her to remain perfectly still, watching carefully as the scavengers moved closer. The group stopped near their hiding spot, speaking in harsh, angry voices. I told you I saw something here, one man growled. his eyes scanning the ground suspiciously. "Probably just an animal," another replied dismissively. "We're wasting time," the first man shook his head stubbornly. "No, I know what I saw. Tracks. Human and something else, something strange." Caleb felt Mira tense beside him. He gently squeezed her hand reassuringly, silently promising to keep her safe. They waited quietly, barely breathing. Finally, after several tense moments, the scavengers reluctantly moved on, disappearing into the jungle. Caleb sighed with relief, turning to Myra with concern. "We must be very careful now," he whispered. Softly, "They will return." Myra nodded, understanding clearly visible in her violet eyes. "We must reach the communication tower quickly." They moved more cautiously now, alert and watchful. Caleb chose paths carefully, keeping away from obvious trails. He knew scavengers were skilled trackers, determined and ruthless. Myra remained close, her quiet determination giving Caleb added strength. As evening approached, Caleb and Mira finally saw the communication tower rising above the treetops in the distance. Relief flooded Caleb's heart. They were almost there. Carefully, he guided Mira forward, their steps quicker now with the end in sight. Suddenly, the sound of breaking branches echoed loudly behind them. Caleb turned sharply, his heart racing. The scavengers had found them, emerging quickly from the shadows, weapons raised threateningly. "Hand over the alien," the scavenger leader demanded coldly, stepping forward confidently. Caleb stood protectively, in front of Myra, defiance shining brightly in his eyes. "Leave us alone. She means you no harm." The scavenger leader laughed harshly, clearly unconcerned. "She'll fetch a good price. Step aside, or we'll take her by force." Myra stepped forward bravely, despite her injury. "Please, let us pass. We only wish to send a message to my people." The scavengers hesitated, surprised by her calm courage. Yet greed quickly overcame any doubt. "Enough talk," the leader snapped angrily. "Take her!" Caleb fought bravely, protecting Mira with every ounce of strength he possessed. But the scavengers were too many and too strong. In the struggle, Mira was pulled roughly from his grasp, her cry of pain cutting deeply into Caleb's heart. "Caleb!" Mira shouted desperately as she was dragged away, her eyes pleading for help. Caleb, though bruised and battered, refused to give up. As the scavengers moved off with Myra, he quickly rose, determined to follow secretly. Carefully, quietly, Caleb tracked them, staying hidden in the shadows. As darkness fell, the scavengers set up camp, tying Myra securely to a tree near their fire. Caleb watched closely, searching for an opportunity to rescue her. Myra's expression was calm, despite her dangerous situation, silently encouraging Caleb. Late into the night, when most scavengers had fallen asleep, Caleb saw his chance. Carefully, silently, he crept closer, avoiding twigs and dry leaves that might betray his presence. His heart pounded as he reached Myra, quickly cutting her bonds. Myra's eyes shone with relief and gratitude. Together, they moved quietly away, slipping silently into the protective darkness of the jungle. Caleb led Myra swiftly and carefully, ensuring they put as much distance between themselves and the scavengers as possible. At a safe distance, Caleb finally stopped, breathing heavily but relieved. Myra leaned gently against him, exhausted but safe. "Thank you, Caleb," she whispered softly, her voice filled with deep gratitude. Caleb nodded, holding her carefully. "I promise to keep you safe. I will always protect you." Myra smiled gently, trust and warmth clearly visible in her expression. Together, under the comforting cover of darkness, they continued quietly toward the communication tower, their bond stronger than ever after the danger they had faced and conquered together. The following morning brought clear skies, with gentle sunlight breaking through the trees. Caleb rose early, determined to make good progress. Myra was already awake, sitting quietly and staring thoughtfully at the jungle around them. Her leg seemed better, though still fragile. Caleb carefully helped Myra to her feet. "Are you ready?" he asked gently. "Yes," Myra replied, her voice steady and strong. She smiled slightly, hiding any discomfort she still felt. Caleb guided Mira through the dense jungle, always aware of her need to rest regularly. He moved at a careful pace, mindful of her condition. The jungle around them seemed less frightening now, somehow brighter and more welcoming with Mira by his side dock as they traveled. Mira taught Caleb about the jungle's hidden dangers and secrets. She showed him plants that could heal and ones that could harm. Caleb listened eagerly, amazed by her vast knowledge. Mira seemed equally impressed by Caleb's adaptability and strength, appreciating how quickly he learned and applied new skills. Midday came, and Caleb found a shady spot near a quiet stream. They rested there, drinking fresh water and eating the food Caleb had carefully packed. Myra appeared thoughtful again, quietly staring into the clear water. "Caleb, your people must face many challenges here," she said softly. "We do," Caleb admitted. "But we've learned to overcome many difficulties. Humans are survivors. We never give up, no matter how hard life gets." Myra smiled gently, admiration clearly visible in her eyes. "Your strength is inspiring. One wish my people could see humans as I now do." Caleb studied Myra curiously. "How do your people see us?" Myra hesitated briefly, then spoke carefully. "Many Zorithians think humans are primitive and aggressive, but now I see we were wrong. Humans are brave, intelligent, and compassionate." Caleb felt warmth in his chest at her words. He smiled gratefully. "Maybe one day your people will understand us better, Mira." "I hope so," Myra said softly, determination in her voice. "I will make sure they know what you have done for me." After resting briefly, they continued their journey. As they walked, Caleb saw something shining faintly through the thick foliage. Curious, he approached carefully, guiding Mira with him. To their surprise, they discovered a piece of Mira's ship, partially buried beneath leaves and dirt. Mira studied the piece carefully, sadness briefly crossing her face. "This was part of my communication device," she explained softly. Caleb's heart sank. "Is it too damaged to use?" "I cannot tell," Myra replied quietly, examining it carefully. "Perhaps we can repair it." Determined, Caleb and Mira carefully extracted the device from the ground. They quickly realized the damage was severe, yet Mira felt hopeful. Together, they carried the broken equipment to a safe spot where they could work. Caleb watched Myra skillfully handle the alien technology, fascinated by her quiet competence. He helped as best he could, handing her tools from his backpack and following her careful instructions. Slowly, the device began taking shape again, though some parts remained too damaged to salvage. Hours passed as they worked tirelessly. Myra's expertise combined with Caleb's careful assistance gradually brought the communication device back to life. At last, Myra pressed a small button, and the device sparked faintly. Emitting a soft hum, Myra sighed, relieved but cautious. It might not work perfectly, but it should be enough to send a short message. Caleb smiled, impressed by her skills. "Then let's try it." Myra nodded, carefully adjusting a small dial. She paused briefly, thinking carefully about her message. "My people, this is Myra," she spoke clearly and confidently. "My ship crashed on Orion 4. I am injured but safe, thanks to the help of a human named Caleb. Please respond if you receive this message." They waited anxiously, the device humming softly. Caleb held his breath, hoping Myra's people would hear her plea. After several tense moments, a faint signal crackled through the device. A distant voice replied urgently, "Mira, we received your message. We are searching for your location. Stay safe. We will find you." Myra smiled, relief visible in her expression. Caleb felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Myra's people knew she was alive, and help would soon arrive. "Your people will find you now," Caleb said gently. "Thanks to you," Myra replied softly. Her eyes filled with gratitude. "I could not have survived without your help," Caleb smiled modestly. "We helped each other, Mira." With renewed hope, Caleb built another shelter as night approached. Mira rested comfortably, knowing rescue was near. They sat quietly by the fire that evening, the flames casting gentle shadows around them. Caleb felt contentment, thankful for Myra's presence and the bond that had formed between them. Myra broke the silence softly. "Caleb, my people will offer help to your colony. I promise." Caleb smiled warmly, feeling true hope for the first time in years. "I believe you, Myra." That night, they both rested easier, knowing that soon their struggles would end. Caleb watched over Mira, still amazed by the unexpected friendship that had grown from their chance meeting. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight Caleb felt confident and hopeful for the future they would create together. Morning sunlight filtered gently through the jungle canopy, casting soft rays of golden light across Caleb's makeshift shelter. He opened his eyes slowly, stiff from the uncomfortable night spent guarding their tiny camp. Nearby, Myra stirred. Slightly, her silver hair shimmering softly in the morning light. She opened her eyes and blinked slowly, confusion and pain still visible on her delicate features. Caleb quickly moved to her side, kneeling carefully beside her. "How do you feel?" he asked, his voice gentle and calm. Mira hesitated, carefully moving her injured leg. She winced slightly, but her expression relaxed when she found the pain bearable. "Better than yesterday," she said softly. "Thank you," Caleb nodded, relieved. "Good. You should drink some water." He handed her a water bottle, and Myra drank carefully, taking small, slow sips. Caleb watched her closely, noticing the alien beauty of her features once again. It was still strange to him, finding himself caring for someone from another world. After drinking, Mira looked at Caleb thoughtfully. "Caleb, why were you alone in this jungle?" Caleb smiled slightly. "I was looking for rare minerals. My colony needs them to survive. Life is difficult for us here." Myra nodded slowly, understanding evident in her eyes. "Your colony is small then?" "Yes, small and struggling," Caleb admitted quietly. "We've been here only a few years, and resources are very limited. Every day is a battle to survive." Myra considered his words carefully. "My people have advanced technology and resources," she said slowly. "Perhaps we can help each other once I return to my people." Caleb raised his eyebrows, surprised by her offer. "You would do that?" Myra smiled gently. "You saved my life. It would be the right thing to do." Caleb felt warmth in his chest, touched by her sincerity. "Thank you, Mira." Myra smiled softly again, her eyes expressing gratitude clearly. "Now, we must find a way to signal my people. They must know I am here." Caleb nodded firmly. "There is a communication tower a few days' walk from here. If we can reach it, maybe you can send a message." "Then we should go soon," Myra agreed softly, her voice firm despite her condition. Caleb quickly packed their few belongings, ensuring Mira had enough support to walk. Her legs still hurt, but she insisted she could manage. Carefully, Caleb supported her, wrapping one arm gently around her waist, providing stability as they moved forward. The jungle was challenging, filled with thick underbrush and difficult terrain. Caleb moved slowly and carefully, guiding Myra along the safest paths. As they traveled, Myra told Caleb more about her people, the Zarthians, who were renowned for their technological skills and peaceful nature. Caleb listened closely, fascinated by her stories. Suddenly, a loud noise erupted from the trees above them. Caleb and Mira stopped instantly, looking up in alarm. A group of wild creatures had appeared in the branches, their sharp eyes watching them with unsettling interest. The creatures resembled monkeys, yet their teeth and claws looked deadly. Caleb felt Mira tense beside him, sensing the threat as clearly as he did. "Stay calm," he whispered, his voice steady but cautious. "Don't make sudden movements." Slowly, Caleb took a defensive stance, positioning himself protectively in front of Mira. The creatures watched them closely, their curious eyes reflecting intelligence and danger. One creature moved closer, its eyes fixed on Mira, attracted. By her unusual appearance, Caleb held his breath, gripping a sturdy branch tightly in his hand. The creature hesitated briefly, then retreated, signaling the others to follow. Slowly, the creatures disappeared into the jungle, leaving Caleb and Mira alone again. Mira sighed with relief, leaning slightly against Caleb. "Thank you," she whispered softly. Caleb nodded, relieved as well. "We must move quickly now. They may return." Continuing their journey, Caleb and Mira moved carefully but steadily toward their goal. By late afternoon, they reached a small clearing, tired but determined. Caleb quickly set up a new shelter, ensuring Mira could rest comfortably. That evening, Caleb built another small fire, preparing a simple meal from the food he carried. As they ate quietly, Myra studied Caleb carefully, clearly deep in thought. "You have risked much to help me," she said quietly, breaking the silence. "Why do humans do this? Why risk your own safety for someone so different from you?" Caleb hesitated, carefully considering his answer. "I suppose because it's the right thing to do," he said simply. "We believe everyone deserves kindness, no matter where they come from." Myra nodded thoughtfully, clearly impressed by his words. "Your people are truly remarkable, Caleb." Caleb smiled softly, feeling pride in her praise. "And your people sound remarkable too, Mira. Maybe together, humans and Zorthians could do great things." Myra smiled gently, hope clearly visible in her eyes. "I believe we could." As darkness enveloped them again, Caleb remained awake, watching over Mira carefully. He wondered about the future, hopeful yet cautious. Tomorrow they will continue their journey toward the communication tower, but tonight Caleb felt grateful for the unexpected friendship that had grown between them. The jungle remained dangerous, yet he felt stronger and braver with Mira by his side. Caleb moved carefully through the thick jungle of Orion 4, his boots sinking into the damp earth with each careful step. The air was hot and humid, heavy with the scent of wet leaves and hidden flowers. Birds and insects sang their strange songs around him, creating an endless symphony of unfamiliar sounds. He had left his small colony settlement early in the morning, hoping to discover rare minerals that would help his struggling community survive. As he moved deeper into the dense foliage, Caleb constantly checked his scanner. The small device showed signals of minerals hidden beneath the surface, guiding him through the unknown terrain. His heart beat faster with excitement at every promising signal, but so far his search had yielded little success. Caleb paused, briefly to drink water from his bottle, wiping sweat from his forehead. The jungle stretched endlessly ahead, both mysterious and challenging. Suddenly, Caleb heard an unusual noise, a low, painful groan. He stopped instantly, alert and tense. His eyes scanned the area carefully, searching for any danger. When the sound came again, it was clearer and unmistakably filled with pain. Someone or something nearby was injured. Caleb hesitated for just a moment. He had been warned many times about the dangers of Orion 4. Strange animals live here, many of them dangerous and unknown to humans. But the sound he heard now seemed different. It sounded intelligent, aware, and suffering. Deciding quickly, Caleb moved toward the sound, pushing aside thick vines and large leaves. The groans became louder and more urgent. His heartbeat quickened again, this time from anxiety. What would he find ahead? Moments later, Caleb emerged into a small clearing and froze at the sight before him. There, leaning weakly against a fallen tree, was a being unlike anything he had ever seen. She was clearly alien, yet strikingly similar to humans in shape and form. Her skin was a pale shade of blue, shimmering faintly under the scattered rays of sunlight breaking through the jungle canopy. Long silver hair fell around her delicate shoulders. Tangled and dirty from her ordeal, Caleb could see her injuries clearly now. A large wound on her leg was bleeding badly, staining her torn clothes. Her deep violet eyes watched him warily, filled with pain and fear. Caleb slowly raised his hands, showing he meant no harm. Easy now. Caleb said softly, trying to calm both himself and the injured alien. I just want to help. The alien woman said nothing, but her tense body relaxed slightly. Taking that as a positive sign, Caleb slowly approached her. He knelt beside her, inspecting her wound carefully. It looked serious and needed immediate attention. He quickly took his medical kit from his backpack. The alien woman watched his every move closely, clearly unsure but too weak to protest. Caleb cleaned her wound gently, applying antiseptic carefully. She flinched from the sting, but she stayed quiet, allowing him to continue. After dressing her injury securely, Caleb sat back and studied her again. Her breathing was steadier now, her eyes calmer and clearer. Still cautious, Caleb decided to speak again, hoping to break the awkward silence. My name is Caleb, he offered gently. I'm from the human colony not far from here. The alien woman watched him carefully, her eyes searching his face. Finally, she responded, her voice soft and slightly musical. I am Myra. Caleb smiled reassuringly. Nice to meet you, Myra. Can you tell me what happened? Myra hesitated, looking away briefly before she spoke. My ship ... it crashed. I was forced to land here alone. Caleb glanced around the clearing and saw scattered pieces of twisted metal and broken technology. Now he understood the scale of the crash. It was a miracle Myra had survived. Do you have any friends nearby? Caleb asked carefully. Anyone. Who could come looking for you? She shook her head weakly, sadness clouding her expression. Not yet. My people do not know where I am. Communication failed before the crash. Caleb nodded slowly, understanding the seriousness of her situation. They were both alone now, in an unknown jungle full of potential dangers. The sensible thing would have been to return to the colony for help, but it was too far away, and Mira clearly could not walk. He took a deep breath, making a decision he hoped he wouldn't regret. We should build a shelter here. You need rest, and it's too dangerous to travel at night. Myra regarded him carefully, her eyes reflecting gratitude, but also confusion. Why are you helping me? She finally asked softly. Caleb paused, unsure how to answer. After a moment, he simply shrugged. Because you needed help. She considered this carefully, her expression softening slightly. Thank you, Caleb. He smiled gently and stood up, looking around for suitable materials to construct a simple shelter. Myra watched silently as Caleb quickly gathered branches, vines, and large leaves, skillfully forming a sturdy lean-to beside the fallen tree. Once finished, he helped Myra move carefully inside, ensuring she was comfortable. Darkness soon descended upon the jungle, the sounds around them changing as night creatures began to awaken. Caleb built a small fire to keep predators at bay and provide warmth and comfort. Sitting by the fire, he glanced at Myra, who lay quietly, her eyes reflecting the dancing flames. Caleb felt a strange sense of wonder and curiosity. He had never imagined meeting someone like Myra, let alone helping an alien. He wondered who she truly was, why she had been traveling alone, and what secrets her strange purple eyes might hold. As the night deepened, Myra drifted into restless sleep, her face illuminated by the flickering firelight. Caleb stayed awake, keeping watch, listening to the jungle sounds, and thinking about what tomorrow might bring. His simple journey had suddenly become far more complicated and far more fascinating than he had ever imagined.